Mosoma.
And I'm your host, Petros Haile. Today, we're dedicating the entire program on Thomas Sankara, former leader of Burkina Faso. And to help me introduce, to discuss Burkina Faso, particularly Thomas Sankara's history, and he's a legend to his people, as well to the rest of Africa. We have Alassane Savadogo, is Burkinabe.
Yes.
And to start with, Thomas Sankara, from December 1949 to October 1987, he ruled Burkina Faso. He was a Marxist revolutionary, Pan-Africanist theorist, and the president of Burkina Faso from 1983 to 1987. Viewed by his supporters as charismatic and iconic figure of revolution, he is commonly referred as the African Che Guevara. Can you tell us the background of Thomas Sankara, how he came about to power? Then we'll go to the other questions.
Oh, first of all, thank you for having me to talk about Thomas Sankara. Thomas Sankara, after he graduated from high school, he attended the military academy in Madagascar for 3 or 4 years. Well, I think he stayed for, he was supposed to study for 3 years, and then he had a 1-year extension for practical things. So he went to Madagascar at the time where Madagascar is having also, communist Marxism
movement
over there. So he kind of embraced the ideas there, and he saw what the system was doing to the citizen, and he embraced the ideas. And after he came to Burkina Faso, he had a few friends who shared the same ideas with him. So down the road, they tried to set up a unit talking about how to change the society, how to better people's lives. So that's how they started. So it took them a long time before they decided to implement, to get the leadership and then try to implement their own views.
Okay.
So Sankara was he was a Ministry of Information in the AD, in the government of Colonel Saizerbo.
Yep.
But it didn't last because we were having contracting, different opinion on how to manage the society.
Okay.
And then after Saizerbo didn't last for long in power. I think it stayed in power for 1.5 years. Less than 2 years. And then Jean-Baptiste came to power in 1982.
Okay. Okay.
So he was appointed prime minister. So when he was in the government, he tried to implement his own view, but it was, you know,
it was difficult.
It was difficult to get his ideas passed.
Okay. Okay.
So at some point he was even jailed. He was in jail. They arrested him and then put him in jail.
Yeah.
And the students' movement took to the street to protest against that. They freed him, and then in August 1983, he came to power through a military coup. But he was helped by Blaise Compaoré and the other member of our unit. They are talking about how to implement the system to better the citizens' life.
Okay.
So that's how Sankara came to power. It was a long process.
Yeah, he's been active, just like you said, in Madagascar. Then later on he was in some areas working with other military group. That includes Compaoré as well.
Exactly, one of his closer ally.
Okay. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to ask you, the name Burkina Faso is given by Sankara, I believe.
Yeah.
What does it mean, and what are his major reforms that he introduced in 1983?
Starting with renaming the country, Burkina Faso was formerly Upper Volta.
Upper Volta,
so he decided to rename the country Burkina Faso to. I mean, it's more meaningful. Burkina Faso means land of honest, upright people.
Okay.
So it comes from the name comes from two major dialects. Burkina means honest, upright.
Okay.
And Faso means land or country. So country of upright people. So he wanted to give more identity, to give a name that has a meaning to the citizen. That's how he came up with the name of Burkina Faso.
As a compromise from two ethnic groups?
Two ethnic groups, two major ethnic groups.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the colonial design was strictly describing the landscape. Okay, the location.
The location, landscape of the country.
Okay, okay. Thomas Sankara is known for his major reforms that he introduced in 1983.
Yeah.
Among them is a land reform,
yeah.
Confiscated the feudal's property, and distributed to the common man or to the farmers. He was also known for a few other things, if you can mention, like a women's right.
Yeah, in fact, he didn't get to the land reform. That was in process. He didn't get to implement that.
Okay.
So according to the tradition, some people have many lands, some people don't have few, some people don't even have. So they have to, go to talk to someone, ask a land, and then for farming. So he wanted to reform the whole system. So, but he didn't get to implement the system. It was just in process.
Okay.
Yeah, and when it comes to women rights, he tried to change. That's when he started talking about women emancipation.
Okay.
So, and then how he did that, he tried to appoint women to government high-level positions.
Okay.
Yeah, like governors, what they call haut commissaire in French at that time.
Commissioner.
Yeah, exactly, and ministry's position. So way before that, the only position that was safe for women is Ministry of Feminine Conditions.
Oh, okay.
That's the only position that were filled by by women. But when he came, he just changed that and then tried to appoint women to different positions.
In fact, since we're talking about the women's right that he introduced, he goes beyond, that confined rights and talks about the disallowed forced marriage,
Yeah, exactly.
polygamy, and
Yeah, exactly. He forced marriage.
yeah.
He wanted to ban that,
Okay.
so that women can,
Yeah.
way before that, at the age of 13, some people can decide to give a girl in marriage to someone.
Okay.
So cut off his education. So he wanted to ban those practice.
They get married at early age.
At a very early age,
okay.
13, 14, 15.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And another thing, that genital mutilation, female genital mutilation,
Oh, yeah.
that is going against the culture. I'm talking about at that time.
Yeah.
So it's very radical transformation.
Oh, yeah,
in that sense.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And he also tried to desertification of the Sahel.
Yeah, exactly, by planting a lot of trees.
Okay.
So he tried to promote that practice to stop the desert from growing.
Growing, okay.
Yeah.
And also in general, the agrarian revolution, he was saying that Burkina Faso can feed itself.
Oh yeah, he did that, and how he did that is, those who finish college, or those who want to pretend to have a job with the government, they have to go to training, and then for a year you have to go to the farming field.
Yeah.
During the vacation time. During the rainy season, you have to go there and then help, because he chose a lot of lands, fertile lands,
Mhm.
started growing crops, different kind of crops,
Okay.
and then those people, they have to go there and then help fill the lands.
Lands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's many lists that's in the reading that I did.
Mhm.
We'll come to it. And by the way, Jean-Pierre,
Mhm.
Tempo Afric TV's the French debate program
Mhm.
will be on at 2 p.m. So please follow the program. It's going to be live today at 2 p.m. So you'll be part of the discussion group, I believe.
Okay.
All right. So for the French audience, we have a program at 2 p.m.
Okay.
Back to Sankara.
Mm.
In order for him to implement his policies,
Mhm.
he was forced to be a little authoritarian.
Yeah.
Can you say something about that?
Oh yeah, I think Sankara wanted to achieve a lot of things in short time,
Okay.
and I think the mindset he has, he usually say that whatever came from the imagination of people, those people are able to realize that. What I mean is, let's say you think about achieving something.
Mm-hmm.
Once you think that you have to achieve this one, you should be able to achieve it. That's one of his slogan.
Okay.
So he
yeah.
believes that people can achieve a lot of things. So he wanted to do a lot of things in short time.
Okay.
In short period of time. So it was getting too heavy for people, and then they tried to back up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's one of his mistakes. But in fact, he did get to do a lot of good things.
Good things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's well. The reason I raise that question is it resembles what in my childhood in Ethiopia, where the military wanted to reform, but it was purely emotional and has so much military power and use to enforce it.
Yeah.
And one of the thing is, Sankara created this committees for defense of revolution.
Yeah.
They also call them revolutionary guards.
Revolutionary guards. Yeah.
And when he created those things, especially in former communist countries, it was purely for a controlling purpose.
Yeah.
And does it create some resentments by the people towards Sankara?
Those people they did bad things. Sometimes they oppress people. Sometimes they jail people they're trying to impose their own views.
Yeah.
So they think that whatever they have been appointed by the system, and whatever they do is the right things.
Okay.
So at this point, they made a lot of mistakes. I mean, they did some good thing, but you know, the Revolutionary Guards, they did a lot of mistakes. And Sankara did acknowledge that, and he wanted to reform the whole system, but it was kind of too late.
Too late. Okay. Oh, he was in power for 4 years. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. By the time he realized,
he realized was too late.
You think most of the things were going on without his knowledge, or he was? I mean, the name and the setup has to be official, you know.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff he wasn't aware of that, but you know, some of the stuff he knew that it was going on. Okay. So that's why he wanted to you know, change the whole system and make it work better. But as I said earlier, it was too late.
It was too late. Yeah. Well, I mean, comparing to what he contributed to society, those are minor. You can say that. Yeah. And during his term, the 4 years, Burkina Faso were engaged in a war with Mali. Yeah. And what was the cause of it, and how did it resolved?
I mean, it was a land issue, the borders between Mali and Burkina Faso. You know, we had a census in 1986, census where they have to find exactly how many populations Burkina Faso had, and just to implement economic programs. Okay. And they went to a part for the census, they went to a portion of Mali, between Mali and Burkina Faso. Okay. They went there, and then Malian started realizing that, oh, you are crossing the border, and then you know, recording our own population. That's how the war started. Okay. But finally, they took the case to the Hague. The Hague, the international. That organization deals with those international issues when it comes to like land or different kind of issues. Okay. They took the case to that institution, and then they solved it.
It got resolved. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Most of his thinking of Sankara was to be self-reliant.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. So he have issues with IMF and making Africa dependent on their aid.
Yeah, I mean, but the idea of self-reliance doesn't. I mean, to him, it doesn't mean that cut off completely with other people, other nations. But you have to rely on yourself at some point. When you think that you reach your limits, then you can seek for help. That's what he used to say. Okay, okay. Yeah. And then he wanted to better the relationship between nations, the Western countries and African nations. So he wanted to be like a win-win situation. Okay, okay. Yeah. Instead of taking advantage of us, we have to both get something out of our relationship. That's what he wanted to promote. Oh, okay. But, you know, at some point you have to challenge the Western interests, because they want more than what you want to give them. Yeah. So it created a lot of problems.
Yeah. Again, 4 years is not enough time to do. But how was his relations with the French, the former?
Former colonial master. The relationship had changed at that time because I don't know if I mentioned it in one of our talk. France still has a tight
control.
A tie on his former colonies.
Okay.
Strong control. So whatever decision you want to take, you have to report to them, and then you know, they see if it's something that good for them, bad for them, before you can take the decision or implement it. So he wanted to, you know, wipe off those kind of practice.
Okay, okay.
So at some point it created a lot of tensions
With the
with,
French, yeah.
the French.
So they were against him.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that,
And he tried to nationalize many companies, you know, companies that belong to Western countries.
yeah, okay.
Was profitable. He tried to nationalize those companies.
Would this one of the reasons for Compaore to hold grudge against Sankara? Because I read somewhere, yeah, he was saying that Sankara is alienating Burkina Faso from the international community, particularly the French and Ivory Coast, and what have you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the reason, because France, as I said, you know, it has to challenge some of their interests. And Ivory Coast used to be a place where many people from Burkina Faso go to work in the plantation of coffee and cocoa. So the way they were treated, Sankara wanted to, to change that. So that set a problem between him and President Felix Houphouët-Boigny, because President Felix Houphouët-Boigny wanted also to have a say to Burkina Faso politics.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So those things created a lot of troubles.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And then they used Compaore to get rid of
Sankara. Okay. And the first thing that Sankara, since we're remembering his history, is he cut off the wage from his parliament members.
Yeah, and
ministries, and he confiscated all the Mercedes and luxury cars.
Yeah, replaced by
them.
cheaper
Okay.
cars. Yeah, used to save money. Yeah.
Is that what he did? You know,
yeah.
because that explains. You know, we have to start from our own.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than cutting corners here and there.
Yeah.
Yep, visionary.
Yeah, and you know, when he did that, he got to build a lot of schools and health facilities. So he raised, when he was coming to power, the alphabetization, those who get formal education, the rate was way too low. I think it was around like 12%. I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
But when he came to power during the 4 years, he raised it up to 26%. So it was a major change.
Increase. Okay.
Yeah, so he got to build a lot of schools, hire teachers, and then he built health facilities. He trained local people.
Oh, okay.
Just to help with basic health treatment.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So he got to save some money to do that.
Yeah. In fact, one of his earlier thing he did in terms of health related issues is he vaccinated for polio, malaria, and what have you.
Yeah.
And he did 2,500,000, I believe.
Yeah, exactly.
It was in the first 2 3 weeks. Is that what
exactly,
it is? Okay.
Yeah. That's what they named commando vaccination. Means that
he tackled it. He tackled it.
Yeah,
that's amazing. And he's the first one who openly talks about AIDS and the danger of AIDS in Africa.
Yeah.
And willing to do something about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Sankara's legacies, among many of them. When did it start going wrong? I realize that the feudals, the landowners, may not be very happy when he confiscated the lands from them.
Oh, yeah.
And on some occasion, human rights advocates were complaining that there was extrajudicial measures taken by Sankara towards some of his opponents. Do you want to comment about it a little bit?
Well, you know, when it comes to that, you cannot please everybody.
Okay.
You know, those who have the lands and who have power, they don't want to lose, you know, some of their wealth or powers. So they started complaining. But if you look at the balance, it favored a lot of people.
Oh, okay.
But only a few people having, you know, the wealthy lands.
Yeah.
So what about if you know, we try to make it so that a lot of people can have.
I agree. The idea is good.
Yeah.
But you have to do it through the process of a legal system, because I just don't want to take you back to our history. You know, that Horn of Africa. They came as a radical communist, and eventually they'll take over, and they're not going to listen to any advice or counsel. No. Yeah. So the chance of being a dictator is a lot higher.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was wondering. Is it part of his downfall for Sankara?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because those people try to, you know, to promote or talk bad things about the regime, trying to create a lot of enemies. So yeah, those things were also part of his downfall.
Okay, and other elements who's opposing his rule was the tribal chiefs. The tribal chiefs, they customarily they were taking taxes from the people, you know, in a form of payment.
Yeah, exactly.
And how are they against him? Were they against him in that sense, or they were willing to accept his decisions?
Oh no, you know, these were very, very, very hard decisions.
Okay.
You know, they don't want to leave to lose their privileges.
Yes.
So I mean, whoever are in this situation, or let's say you have your privileges, it's hard to, you know, to relinquish, to accept to lose part of that.
Part of the benefits.
It created a kind of resentment.
Yeah. Okay.
So as I said, those things also created some problems.
Okay.
Where Sankara did very, very good things when it comes to education, health, increasing production, housing. So he did a lot of good things in very few years.
Oh, in fact, the food production in 1 year, it shows surplus.
Exactly.
Burkina Faso had never had that kind of results before. But I'm just trying to see both sides. You know, in 4 years you cannot, you know, accomplish a lot. But at the same time, you can tell where the country was going. You know, because if you wanted, if you use force for every resistance, then the chances of you becoming your former enemy. It's like, and one of them happens to be the teachers' union. How was that came about?
Well, the teachers' union, I mean, I don't formally know exactly the reason why they went on strike. But he really doesn't have anything to do with their working conditions. So the only thing I'm sure about is he didn't have anything to do with their working conditions. They were not just happy with how the revolutionary regime is tackling the matters. But I don't know exactly how they set it up. So I mean, to Sankara and his regime was something meaningless. It was kind of provocation. So that's why he decided to fire them.
Fire the students.
And then replace by.
And one of the criticism, the teachers, the fired teachers, I would say, is the criteria to teach at a higher level is just you just have to be a college graduate. Probably earlier there was more scrutiny to qualify as a
not even college graduate, high school.
High school graduate.
Once you graduate from high school, you can take the test, and then you go for 2 years training.
2 years and become
training, and then become a teacher.
How about People's Revolutionary Tribunals? from what his critics are saying is those tribunals decide on the fate of, like, let's assume that the feudal landlord would come, and he had no representation, no counsel,
no lawyer.
no lawyer.
Yeah, you have to
defend yourself.
Yeah.
And on that basis, a lot of injustice were created, right?
Well, that's a Western system.
Yeah.
Because what Sankara wanted to do is he wanted to implement a judicial system that come from a traditional background. Years ago, you go to you see the chief of a village. You have a problem, they take you to the chief.
Yeah, okay.
You don't have a representation. You have to defend yourself. Whatever they ask you, they will ask you questions about the issues of the problem.
Okay.
Is it right or not? You have to defend yourself.
Okay.
That's the kind of judicial system he wants to implement.
Okay.
So, but the Western system, I mean, that's their system. What proves that is the best one? It's something that we can challenge too.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah, that traditional system based on fairness. Is okay. Yeah. But when you have People's Revolutionary Tribunals, they tend to advocate certain ideology. Yeah. So when you bring the feudal into the table, most likely he's not going to defend his status. Because the counter argument will be, you're the reactionary.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's good to install that kind of system, but at the same time, is it functional? Is the other question. I mean, they're saying that it's not an international standard.
Yeah.
What is international standard? It's debatable. Yeah. Okay. Well, we pretty much covered small thing. Yeah. By the way, Alassane, we've had this discussion before when Kampaware was overthrown. Yeah. But how many months ago?
It's been over a year now.
Over a year now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had that discussion. Yeah. So, if you can tell us a little bit about the days of Sankara and how Kampaware came into the picture.
The day for Sankara, I mean, Western countries, they use him to overthrow his friends and then took over.
Okay.
Took over the country, the leadership. So there one is someone that they can, easily rely on or control to get whatever they want to get. That's how, Blaise came to the picture. But they did it through some African leaders too. Felix Houphouët-Boigny's name has been mentioned many times. And even Togo, former leaders, former president was
Bongo?
Also in Togo.
Oh, okay.
Was also involved in the coup.
Okay.
So that's how they helped him come to power.
I guess he created so many enemies in so short time.
Yeah, exactly.
Although his ideas and
because they fear that he can expand his ideas, his visions to other countries. They don't want that to happen. Because once it's happened, it comes. I mean, it goes against Western countries' interests. So they have to stop that.
And I don't know how true it is, but they were advising Sankara that Kampaware is thinking to overthrow him.
Yeah.
But he ignored it.
He did, but why he did it, I don't know. He trusted Kampaware heavily.
Okay.
That was one of his best friends.
Yeah, they grew up together. Yeah.
Exactly. Whatever gonna happen, it has to happen. I think that's what was his mindset at that time. So he knew people kept telling him that, this guy is plotting a coup against you.
Yes,
He just ignored it. And it happens.
And he still denies it, that he has anything to do with the assassination of Sankara,
Well,
right?
I mean, he has to.
He
He's
has
not
to.
going to say that. Well, I know something about it.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
he was. I mean, after Sankara was assassinated, he was in power, so he benefited from the situation.
Okay.
So
okay.
there's
Yeah.
no way to say that. Oh, I don't know anything about
Nothing,
that.
yeah.
Did he do investigation about that? He didn't.
He didn't. Yeah.
So meaning
Okay.
that he knows
Okay.
something about that.
Well, this one is the last question. By the way, John and Pierre will have a French debate panel discussion at 2 p.m. So please watch it. It's going to be live, and I guess Alassane will be part of it as well. But before I leave you, how influential is it, the overthrow of Compaoré, and the influence of Sankara to the overthrow of Compaoré?
Oh, it's like Sankara ideology. People are embracing, especially the youth.
Oh.
They are embracing Sankara ideology, what he was fighting for.
Okay.
So, you know, those people, I mean, they were against, you know, and most of them, they were born after Sankara was assassinated, but they knew him through readings, you know, news, watching his speeches.
Yeah.
So that kind of gave them the sense that, oh, this guy was trying to do a better thing for our countries.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we look at the leadership of Compaoré. This guy was serving Western interests.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you know, it's kind of gave them the feeling that, oh, we need to stand up and then you know, remove, try to make sure that this guy leaves the power.
Okay, yeah. That's what I thought too, because his legacy in 4 years is haunting the population.
Exactly.
And when this incident occurred, like Compaoré wanted to extend another 4 or 5 years of his power. Well, thank you, Alassane Sabadogo.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
We'll have we'll invite you another time for a different subject. It's always a pleasure. On that note, we will end our today's program until we meet next week with a different guest. Have a nice one. Thank you. Mama ku, mama sa, mama ku sa, mama ku, mama sa, mama ku sa, mama ku, mama sa, mama ku sa, mama ku, mama sa, mama ku sa.
Du nouveau à Minneapolis, Tempo Afric Travel. Vous voulez voyager? Achetez vos billets d'avion à l'agence de voyage Tempo Afric Travel. Téléphone 612 729 01 76. Avec l'agence de voyage Tempo Afric Travel, pas de problème de connexion, pas de problème de transfert de vol. Avec l'agence de voyage Tempo Afric Travel, c'est le voyage en toute tranquillité, en toute beauté, de votre maison jusqu'à votre destination. Votre satisfaction est notre plaisir.